Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide and into another installation of Q&A videos. I haven't done those in a little while, so it's time to rectify that. So let's dig into some of the questions. And the first one is, hi Voya, does the Supernote come with its own proprietary EPUB reader? I ask because my EPUBs come from elsewhere. Where elsewhere? From the beyond? No matter where your EPUBs are coming from, as long as they are not DRM protected, yes, you can open them natively on the Supernote because its reader does support EPUBs as well. The functionality is largely the same like with the PDF readers. The only thing is, of course, the formatting options, because EPUB as a format allows you to, change the font scale and all of that kind of stuff. So all the regular stuff that you would expect from a normal EPUB reader, you have on the Supernote as well. And it doesn't matter which, the e-reader app is the same on all of the models. The next one is, for someone mainly looking for reading and annotating academic letter-sized PDFs, ideally with some reference manager integration, and taking meeting notes with some ability to sync to cloud services, would you recommend the Books Note Air 3 or waiting for the Supernote A5X2? That's an interesting one, but in this case, I believe that I would go a little bit more towards the Note Air 3, not the Note Air 3C, but the Note Air 3 itself, because of the cost, the battery life, the black and white screen that gives you nice kind of contrast and all of that kind of stuff. And also, most importantly, you have the split screen functionality on the Books devices, and we don't yet have split screen functionality on the Note Air or on the Supernote devices. And furthermore, you also have on Books devices, you have associated notebooks that are basically linked to your document. And in this case, when you're talking about annotating and taking meeting or reading notes, in those cases I think that these would the Books platform kind of prevails a little bit more. But if you don't need that split screen functionality, then Supernote I think definitely can fulfill that need very, very well. The benefit of the Books is that its reader capabilities are far more in-depth, meaning, for example, all of your annotations and all of your selections and things like that, you can export the things that you've selected and stuff like that. So you can do quite a lot with the way you process a document and the way you use a document in the end. Those things you can't do on a Supernote. But on the other hand, you have the complexity and ease of use, where Supernote definitely as a platform wins because it's far more centralized, unified. The state of the user interface and user experience is way, way, way better and mature than what we have on Books, where it's basically just a continuous mess. And you will have an element of frustration with the Books platform in general, but the sheer powerhouse that it offers is usually enough for people to kind of overcome that frustration element and be okay with it, because it's not terrible, but it's always there. There's always something that's kind of like kind of uncomfortable in use, which is not really the case with the Supernote. So, but on a Supernote, you will have the issue of speed, because it's not going to be super fast. It's a little bit of a sluggish device, whereas in Books is a really, really fast device. So those things considered, I think that the Supernote A5X2 can do that type of work and that you can be happy with it. Oh, and also Supernote doesn't have a front light, Books Note Air 3 does. So Supernote A5X2, when it comes out, I believe that it will be able to do that work well, but I think that the Books Note Air 3 for these specific needs would be able to do that job better. This one is more like a commentary, and I just want to chime in the conversation here, because the original post was, in my opinion, all e-ink devices should focus primarily on creating excellent PDF annotating software when it comes to note-taking aspect of the device. No need for different note-taking apps and software. This way, notes created on one device can easily be edited on a different device. +1, this is so annoying that PDF annotation lacks of all features that their proprietary note-taking app they made. PDF should have indeed much more primary focus, and second, better to negotiate all of them. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. So basically, +1, agree, and all that kind of stuff. And yes, up to a point, I do agree, generally speaking, that that would be a really cool thing. But considering that this, I believe, was made on a video that relates to the Supernote, well, that's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because the Supernote is the only platform that does properly allow you to convert any PDF into a notebook and then use it, annotate it, and use it that way. Granted, what you lose is the option of the highlighter, because that doesn't work. You don't have that tool in the notebook itself, but you get all of the benefits of the notebook itself. So yes, it is annoying, and yes, I agree. Definitely a unification would be a huge and important point on all of the platforms. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that Remarkable 2 is still the best one in that regards, because it's pretty much exactly the same. And Quaderno is really good as well. Close second or third would be the Supernote, but for me it is irritating. A couple of things that are very like still missing, which I don't understand why they are not doing on the Supernote platform, is shared clipboard memory, that you can copy paste content between PDFs and notebooks. That is a huge one. That's a big no-no for me. But yeah, once that's done, I think that the unification of user experience, for example, pinch to zoom in notebooks, that it works well once they fix it in the documents, that first of all they fix the pinch to zoom, and then to implement the pinch to zoom into notebooks as well, and also have the same tools, headings, links, all that kind of stuff. There's no point. And generally speaking, that should definitely apply to everyone, especially on books, which is a complete freaking mess as far as annotation goes. When you go into the documents, yes, it's powerful, but you got two different types of toolbars and things like that, and it's like yeah, it's a mess. So idea of unifying all of that kind of thing, absolutely 100% double thumbs up for me as well. And we have a next question. I have a question for your next Q&A. Well, here we are. I'm using a Note Air 1 and have a nice case for it. It's handsome and it's handmade in leather. Is the Note Air 3C or the 3 the same size as the original Note Air? It'd be nice to keep this case when I get the new device. Absolutely, they are of exactly the same dimensions. It's the same type of case. The only difference is the orientation of magnets if your case is using magnets. If it doesn't use magnets, then you don't care. If it uses magnets, then you won't be able to use it because, well, first of all, Note Air 1 and Note Air 2 didn't have any magnets in the case to actually kind of use it. So I guess that's a moot point, but I can kind of go here because maybe some users are thinking, hey, I have a Note Air 2 Plus, can I use it? Well, no, you can't, because Note Air 2 Plus, while it had magnets, it introduced magnets in the case, so it can have a magnetic cover. The orientation and the placement of them is not the same as it is on the Note Air 3 or the 3C. On the both of the Note Air 3 and the Note Air 3C, it is identical, and you can use the same cases on both of those devices. Here's another question in relation to the Note Air 3 or Note Air 3C, doesn't matter. Hello, is it based on Android? Obviously, yes. Just read the specifications and you will see that its operating system is Android 12, or read a title of some of my videos where it says Android based. Never mind, yes, with a Google Play Store. Is it possible to install apps like VSCode? Again, yes. I mean, you can read any general review or watch any review video of a device that you're interested in, and you will be able to find answers of general basic kind like this, and use it to write code. And yes, I checked out and I went on the Play Store and searched for VS Code, and it's there. I didn't install it because it costs. It's a paid app, and I don't have a license for it, so I didn't want to buy it just to kind of test this, but it's there and I'm able to install it. So I'm guessing that it's fairly obvious that yes, you are able to install VS Code, and yes, you should be able to run it normally on Note Air 3 or Note Air 3C. Next one, I've been looking for a specific device and this may be it. Every review of this understandably focuses on the writing, but I've looked around and it seems to support Word files. We're talking about the Supernote A6X2. Can you create one or even a text doc on this device by typing? If you add a Word file or make one, if possible, can it be edited? In a previous video you mentioned it's possible to type, but it was a bit clunky. I'm okay if it's a little slow, as I still hunt and peck, but has it improved since you did that video? I do my editing manually. as I don't know any keyboard shortcuts. Thanks for all the great informative videos. I haven't done the testing. That's one of the next things that I'm going to be doing in the near future to see how the typing performance is and overall functionality on the Supernote A6X2, and more importantly on their OS 3 version that's going to be on the A5X2 as well. So I haven't tested that out yet, but previously, yes, and currently, yes, you do have that functionality. It has full-on functionality to create a .doc file that can be exported and saved as a document or a text file, and you do have basic formatting and MyScript type of interactions with it, but considering that you're talking about fairly basic things, you're probably not interested in that. Yes, you can create a document, and yes, you can type, and yes, you can do some basic formatting of it. Is it great? No, it didn't used to be. Has it improved? I don't know. That's something that I'll check in the future. This was in relation to the A6X2 versus A6X. Which one feels closer to pen and paper? And one of the replies was the A6X2, according to other reviewers, because it has the new and improved FeelWrite 2 film. I beg to disagree. I don't think either of them feel like paper. I think both of them feel very specific and unique to the Supernote as themselves, and it's the only difference is that FeelWrite 2 is a little bit rougher, while FeelWrite 1 is a bit smoother, or it's smooth. For my personal taste, a combination of that ceramic test and FeelWrite 1 is something that I prefer, but it's unique, and I prefer it to the writing feel of the FeelWrite 2. FeelWrite 2 is not bad, but it's a little bit hard and a little bit too slippery for my taste. The best way that I could characterize it is if you take a single piece of paper sheet and you put it on a harder surface, like a desk or something like that, and then you start writing, that's kind of the writing feel that you're gonna get, but not with a graphite pen. You need some kind of a normal kind of pencil, and then you will start to get the feel that it sort of resembles that. But yeah, that's as close as I can get to kind of trying to describe to you. But for me, none of them actually feel like paper. No. This is a short question, any update, and it's in regards to the split ergonomic keyboard, Moergo keyboard, that I did the unboxing and first impressions of quite a while ago, and I never actually followed up on it, and I did explain that in some of the comments, but I guess I can address it here as well. No, there hasn't been any updates, and there won't be any updates on that one, because I determined that while I was able to really easily and quickly accommodate and acclimate to the layout and the ergonomic typing that this type of approach requires, what I couldn't get over and what I couldn't actually get adapted to was the need to have layers for different special characters, especially for me because I use Norwegian characters in a Norwegian keyboard layout. And Norwegian keyboard layout has more keys, more active keys that you constantly use in day-to-day life than a regular US or UK key. So even though Moergo supplied all of the stuff, which was great, and I had the keycaps for Norwegian characters and layout and stuff like that, and the tools are definitely there, physically there's not enough keys themselves to actually support that. So I would have to kind of create a sacrifice of sorts, and those sacrifices I didn't like, and I could not get used to them, and that created a bias. And once I figured out that I was completely biased in basically, and that this is something that I can't get over, I determined that I was unable to provide a objective and a normal kind of objective review of this keyboard, simply because this was a complete block for me and I couldn't actually go further. And because I recognized that I couldn't be objective, then I decided, hey, and I just typed to them and told them, hey, this is the block that I ran into and I can't do it objectively because this is simply not something that I can use, not something that I would use. So yeah, that's why it's kind of that's the story behind the Moergo and why there was no continuation, simply because I became too biased and I was unable to provide you with an objective review for that product. Here's another comment, but an important one in relation to the announcement or the launch of the Books Note Air 3. The user says, because of the way manufacturers are delivering products and the current tech race, I feel like I'm continually waiting until something gets fixed to make a product right. DPI to 300, better interface to get files off device and into some programs, a more responsive screen, so on and so on. I have a lot of waiting for the next product to drop or the next product update, upgrade or iteration or model, and about the time I'm about to pull the trigger and commit, the dang thing is falling behind. Each manufacturer has a piece of the puzzle and it makes me feel like I need to wait for a Typefolio A4X2 Superbooks Remarkable Stain 3. I love that name. I await that product and cart my paper notebook and 2B mechanical pencils around dreaming of the day. This is like FOMO as it gets, right? Fear of missing out. And it's a real thing, but for me, that's an indication that you should kind of reevaluate a much more important question, which is, do you even need a device like that? Is it just a pure want? Because if it is purely a want or dominantly a want for a device like that, you will never be satisfied. The moment you buy it in 1/4 of a year, 3 months, 90 days, that device will be obsolete in some way or another. That's just the nature of technology where we are at right now, especially with these devices and books being a major player that's just going like ka-ching, ka-ching, new one all the time. The complete opposite of this is if you really feel the need for a device like that, that they can actually substitute what you're currently using. So if the pen and pencil, if the paper and pencil works for you, why change something that works for you? However, if it has something that there's like an inherent flaw in the design and the workflow that you're currently using, and one of these devices offers an obvious way and method to improve your life, workflow, productivity, whatever, organization, etc., then that would categorize as need, and that will not go obsolete as long as you do your research right, because you will then make a decision on purchasing a device that provides the core service and not just something that just is completely meaningless in the long run, which is, oh, which device is 8% faster or slower. Who cares? That's not a need, that's a want. So I think that you should reevaluate, do you need a device or do you want it? If you want it, then yeah, you're never gonna be happy. But if you do need it, then yeah, do a good research. And once you do a good research and you get a device that really fulfills your needs, I don't think you will have the buyer's remorse or regret. Next one, thank you for your amazing work. Thank you for watching and for the support. What is your personal decision between a Note Air 3C and the Note Air 3? Which one are you choosing to be your personal e-reader? Well, I have the Note Air 3C simply because I purchased it before Note Air 3 came out. However, even with the Note Air 3, if I was looking at these two, I would have a really tough time. Like, hands down, I would have a very difficult time choosing between these two. But I think that I would lean personally towards the Note Air 3C, simply because of the writing comfort, which is very important for me. And even though it's really good on the Note Air 3 as well, there is a little bit of a difference in speed and comfort and closeness to the screen and all that kind of stuff. You can see that in my direct versus video that I did between these two. So that was a plus point number one, and plus point number two is that because of the BSR and the color content that you are able to utilize on this one, it does expand the usability of the tablet a bit more than what I normally used to use my Note Air 1 for the longest time. So for those reasons, yeah, if I was upgrading, if this didn't exist, I would go happily for the Note Air 3, and I would be happy with the upgrade from Note Air 1, for example. But because this one exists, and for those reasons, my personal choice, and the one that I personally have, is the Note Air 3C for general use, note-taking, reading, mostly for reading, studying, and all that kind of stuff. But for exclusive note-taking and just like my go-to companion, like a notebook, sketchbook, is the Supernote A6 X2 for, yeah, obvious reasons that I've talked about many times. All right, so that's the list of questions that I chose for this issue or edition of Q&A. As usual, I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you found the information here informative, useful, or inspiring in some way to kind of make you think a little bit different. And as usual, if you do have some questions that you would like to be considered for the next Q&A, please post them as comments in this video, because that helps me find them much more easily. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye.